Now here in San Antonio, we often don't see beautiful snowfall in the wintertime, but what we do see sometimes is freezing rain. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what freezing rain is, how it forms, and why we get it here on bridges and overpasses so much and it results in traffic accidents. First thing you should know is way up high in the atmosphere, it's actually really cold. So any tops of thunderstorms you see are usually pretty cold, sometimes as low as 40 to 60 below zero. So in the wintertime, a lot of the rain that you see around actually starts off as snow up high in the atmosphere, but as it falls through the atmosphere, gets closer to the ground, it gets into a warm layer right near the ground, and so that snow melts and it just becomes rain. And usually this is what we see if we see any kind of precipitation in the wintertime or in the late fall in San Antonio, just some really cold rain. But every now and then, if we get a strong cold front, that'll result in a very cold layer close to the ground that allows that melted snow to immediately freeze on impact, and you'll see ice on the ground. So sometimes that does happen. In fact, that happened recently where we saw a little bit of freezing rain one Tuesday morning. So why is freezing rain so dangerous, particularly on bridges and overpasses? Well, sometimes you'll notice that if we do get a little bit of freezing rain, the ground actually doesn't see much accumulation of ice. That's because the ground is warm. But on bridges and overpasses, right under the bridges, we usually get a very cold layer of air. That causes freezing of light puddles on the bridges, and so sometimes what you'll see is if there's a little bit of rain, those cars will end up skidding on very, very thin, what we call black ice, which is just a thin layer of millimeters of ice, and so that can cause some problems. So that's why we say drive careful on bridges and overpasses. Usually if we see any ice problems, that's where we see them around San Antonio. So next time we get a very Arctic cold front coupled with the possibility for some rain, just exercise caution on bridges and overpasses.